He's up there fighting
Maybe
on a
that's happened
bridge.
to him before. So he's like built up an immunity to. Maybe that's just like a Tuesday in Indian traffic. What do we know?
They were in Bangladesh, you knucklehead. And welcome back to the What's Our Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-host, Mattson Heiner.
Better red than dead.
Javier Ortiz.
What's up, nerds?
And Ian Anderson.
Some shit.
All right, this is our trial series, gentlemen, where we discuss the facts of a movie, pass judgment, and let our listeners know the verdict. Today we're discussing the movie Extraction, a Netflix original released on April 24th of this year. It was directed by Sam Hargrave and written by Joe Russo. It starred Chris Hemsworth. Here we go. I apologize because I'm going to butcher these names, but they were good in this movie. So Rudraksh Jaiswal, Piyush Kati, and David Harbour. I got the last one. Tyler Rake. This movie's about Tyler Rake, a fearless black market mercenary who embarks on the most deadly extraction of his career when he's enlisted to rescue the kidnapped son of an imprisoned international crime lord. So to get started, because this is a very new movie, we'll give everyone a non-spoiler should they go see it or not. Then we'll dive in after that to our heavy spoiler review and ratings. So if you haven't seen it, listen to whether you should, and then come back and join us after you've seen it. Let's start with Ian.
With me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Voice crack? Me?
Shut up. Let's see. Should you go and see this movie? Or I guess watch it on Netflix, since this is a Netflix one. I'd say yes. Like, I think it's worth watching. If you like action-y movies, if you're a fan of, like, maybe our review on John Wick and The Equalizer, things like that, you're gonna like this movie. I think it was fairly well acted. I enjoyed kind of the different scene. I don't think I've seen too many movies set in Bangladesh, so that was kind of interesting. But yeah, I'd say it's worth watching.
All right, Mattson.
Yeah, you guys, if you've listened to us before, you know that we are big fans of John Wick. We also reviewed Equalizer with Denzel Washington. To me, this movie is somewhere in between those, or like them. Reasons being the style of fighting. This movie is definitely graphic. You will see some up close and personal killing. Did enjoy that. There was a scene where there was a triple knife slit that didn't make any sense to me, except it was cool. Was it needed? Certainly not, because you probably needed to kill someone else. But hey, go for it. And that made me think of Equalizer, and because there was another death scene with like a kind of like a pitchfork rake thing.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, so that's like Equalizer-esque. But then there's a lot of these gun scenes and camera scenes where I was like, oh, they're trying to kind of be like John Wick smooth, but it wasn't completely like the John Wick feel, but it really felt like a movie that fit in that genre. So if you like those movies alone, you're going to love the action in this movie. And to Ian's point, I did like the change of scenery. I haven't seen an action movie in India set like this. That was cool to me. It had me wanting to ask a lot of questions about, is that really what it looks like? And to some of the people that I know, to just because I've never seen a movie in that setting before. And then lastly, if you like Chris Hemsworth, are you going to like this movie? I would say the downfall of this movie is it the best dialogue? You're probably not going to watch it for that. But if you think Chris Hemsworth's an attractive individual, you want to see him beat up some smaller dudes and try and have a story that kind of interweaves in between, this is a movie for you.
Smaller dudes, you mean children, right?
Yes, children.
There is literally a scene where he is just bitch slapping kids, and it's hilarious.
It's pretty dang funny. So, long story short, would I watch it again? I would. If you like action movies, this is definitely a movie you should watch.
Javier.
Dude, so I was not expecting this movie. Like, I went into this with similar expectations that I went into watching The Accountant with Ben Affleck, where I was like, okay, it's an action movie. And like, I mean, like, action movies to me are a lot like pizza, right? Like, if they're good, they're great. And if they're bad, they're still pretty good. So anyway, went into this, was actually really impressed, and I really liked it. So yeah, I would totally watch this again.
Sorry, I gotta catch my breath after the pizza comment. That was
Are
great.
you hungry?
I'm a little
Are
hungry.
you hungry in more ways than one today?
Yes, I could eat a little. Stop.
There's a reason, ladies and gentlemen.
Ah!
I don't know what they're talking about other than I'm fat. For me, I'm going to be the outlier on this, guys. Like, let me start off. If you like action, if you're looking for some brutal action and some cool killing and, fun scenes, definitely check it out. If you're looking for a good movie, this isn't the right one, in my opinion. So, yeah, if you're looking to just be entertained and watch people die and kids get slapped around a little bit here and there, game on, go see it. But again, if you're looking for something that you're going to watch and be enthralled in the movie and the story, it's not my thing, so I wouldn't recommend it in that case. But two definitely different tastes as far as which one I would recommend for you to go and see it. But there's my thing with it. So there you guys have it, whether you should see it, not see it, based on what, some fun little tidbits of what you might see. We're getting ready to move into spoiler territory right now, so I remind you, go see it if you haven't, if you care. If not, join us for the spoiler roller coaster, and here we go. So I'll start. I wanted to love this movie because the killing was amazing. I like Chris Hemsworth a lot. I really liked the kid, the main kid that was in it. He was likable, but to me, he was like the only likable character in this movie besides Chris Hemsworth's handler. I liked her because she was brutal and just no nonsense, but I had no buy-in for this movie. Like, there was nobody that I was rooting for. Even at the end, like, I was like, oh, yeah. In fact, I was actually pissed off, so I'll go deep cut spoilers. When they did that little flash as the kid got out of the pool and you see the blurry version of Chris Hemsworth in the background, like he survived, I was pissed. I was like, no, the only thing I like about this movie is the fact that he sacrificed himself for this kid.
Oh, I didn't even think that was Chris Hemsworth. There's no way he survived.
I didn't think that was him.
Yeah.
He's dead. He got shot in the neck.
They're making Extraction 2. Russo got greenlit for Extraction 2.
He's alive? What the? No.
Just
Yeah,
telling
that
you.
changes my opinion on that a lot.
No.
I hate movies that are like, this character's dead, and then they bring him back. Like, like, if you're gonna kill someone, just kill him. Just be a man and kill the character.
All right,
Yep.
yeah, you just killed the pooch.
Although
Sorry.
I thought the way that they did kill him was kind of dumb. The Fareed kid.
I did too.
That was
I hated
stupid.
that.
Like, how did he? So many questions about how that kid gets there at that point without dying, and then is able to shoot it. Like, it was just stupid. It was a dumb way to kill him. Should have been
we
some cop.
just spent 2 hours watching Chris Hemsworth cut through like SWAT teams, right? And then he gets dropped by a 9-fingered homeless kid. Come on.
Anybody
So
want to go
does
back
that
to
mean-
pre-spoilers and tell people not to watch it?
No, like, so I think my main criticism is how, like, it's just not very creative or unique, right?
Yeah.
There are so many John Wick parallels. You've got, like, even the opening scene is almost exactly like John Wick, of him, like, leaning against something, bleeding out, right? That's how the first John Wick starts. You've got the back tattoo scene, right? John Wick's in the shower, but he's, like, changing his shirt. You see a back tattoo. You've even got the guy who's got the rifle barrel pinning someone to the ground while he's reloading it. I'm like, that is classic John Wick stuff. And so my main criticism is it's a very cool action movie. It's just a knockoff of every other action movie that's ever been made.
Yeah. Ian, you had something you wanted to say.
Shoot.
It's gone.
I did have something I wanted to say. Oh, it was about the kid. Oh, the badass comment. There's how the one drug lord gives him the there's always, my gift of advice is there's always a bigger badass than you. I was gonna ask, does that mean that Farad or whatever the kid's name is the bigger badass than Chris Hemsworth because he shot him in the end, or what does that mean?
Yep, that's what that means.
That's what it means.
Apparently.
Hey, maybe Tyler will go back and kill him in Extraction 2.
Tyler's dead.
I mean, I'm hoping that I'm wrong and that he's dead. Like, I'm really hoping that Russo is not that stupid to actually bring him back. But if you watch that blurry shit, it looks just like him, just blurry, which I'm sure they left it in case they didn't get an Extraction 2. But they today they got greenlit to write Extraction 2. So there will be an Extraction 2 because this one has killed it for like 3 weeks, 3 weeks, however long it has been out, until like this last release day on Tuesday. It was like the number one viewed Netflix movie.
Yeah, it's in their top 10. I think it was like number 1 or number 2 for a while.
Yeah. So it's bonkers because it was not that good.
There's one more thing that I'm a little confused about. Is there any symbolism of him and that kid at the end jumping off something into water and then sitting at the bottom of the water? Did that go over my head?
So remember when we first got introduced to Chris Hemsworth, Tyler, the character, he wakes up, drinks, he says, "Hold my beer," and then
no, that's
jumps.
what I'm talking about. Yeah.
He's asking if there's something deeper, not that if it just like.
Oh, well, I thought it was because Chris Hemsworth character thought about like the piece of his family or whatever happened to them, and the kid, I don't know, they wanted to show similarities where he found peace underneath water because Chris Hemsworth died in the water, and maybe he thought of him protecting him. I don't know. That's what I thought, that they were trying to make that connection there, but I could be very wrong.
I think they were just, in my opinion, you see movies do this a lot where they'll end the way something started. Like they'll end the movie the way the movie started, and kind of gives it like balance. Like your intro is your exit. I don't know. That's kind of what I thought they were doing.
I'm not watching this movie for balance, man.
Yeah, that was stupid.
You guys are being very nice about this because I'll tell you what I think it is. I think it was the lead in, because you know what my first thought was when the kid jumped in and sunk to the bottom? Now, how the fuck did he know about doing that shit?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, is this dude still alive? And then they panned up and you see the fuzzy Chris Hemsworth in the back because he's teaching him how he finds his zen, dude. Are you shitting me right now? That's what that was. I'm telling you. That's gross. Because how else? Nobody else does that. He's not just going to randomly jump in a pool. Some early teenage, if that, kid jumps into a pool and sinks to the bottom of it. Please, nobody just randomly does that shit.
Another complaint, an annoying thing that I had, and you guys can maybe make me feel dumb and why this was done that way. So the guy that was a part of the drug crew that was trying to take the kid as well, that knew him. What's the character's name? And so they go through that epic fight scene with all those other cops and everything around him. But then Hemsworth later on, whether it was that night or the next day, I think it was that night, calls him and says, "Hey, I have the kid." And then all of a sudden they're just hunky-dory working together. And to me, I was like, well, couldn't they have just figured that out earlier? Why was it that moment? Why did it just all of a sudden work? And I had problems with that because they went through such an epic fight scene. I was like, yeah, the guy didn't want to pay them, but at some point could he have said, "Hey, I just need this kid. I know you don't get your money, but let's figure this out," kind of thing. That phone call just seemed too simple to me. And how did he get his number?
That's what I was wondering, actually. I was wondering how he got his phone number. But like how they got to working together kind of made sense to me, right? Because that one guy, what's his name? Saju? Yeah. I think Saju figured out that.
I thought he was awesome. I'm not going to lie. I thought Saju was awesome. So that's why I know his name.
He was cool.
I liked his. He was totally cool.
So I think he figured out that Chris Hemsworth's character could kill him, right? And that Chris still had the boy, or I guess Tyler still had the boy. But Tyler couldn't get to the extraction point because he didn't have any help, right? So I think that was kind of what they were trying to make us understand. I don't know, man.
No, I think you're on the right line.
But can I tell you what I did like? What I liked was that one fight scene where Chris Hemsworth kicks that guy down and he falls next to the sofa and he picks the other dude up, swings him around into the guy sitting there and breaks his neck by throwing another man into him. Oh, that was improvised weaponry. Like, that was crazy, dude.
Is it just me, or did nobody weigh like anything in this movie?
I mean, he dwarfed everyone. Everyone was like 4 foot that he was fighting.
Except for the kids who were like 3 feet.
Yeah. Good Lord. I mean, I can give this movie the fact that there was some brutal violence. Like, some of the kills, like when he was throwing people on the ground, snapping their necks, throwing him head first. And it's funny because usually I watch that kind of shit and I go, that's not realistic. But I didn't have that problem with this movie. I looked at it and I was like, he's a big son of a bitch. And I could see him getting enough velocity behind someone to actually do some real damage, slamming them into something.
That's what I did like about this movie. The fight scenes seemed realistic to me when they fell off that balcony into the truck, and like it took them a while to get up to get after that gun, and they look wounded, and they carry that throughout. It felt believable to me there, where they weren't just Rambo that never gets hurt, that takes on the world. It seemed very realistic there, and I did like that a lot. What did you guys think of the camera angle that they had a lot in this movie, where I call it like the action cam, where you were like a part of it? It was kind of jostling while they were running, and you were in like kind of the close, tight scenes. I thought that was an interesting perspective. That's kind of what I feel like that made me think of John Wick. I feel like they do that a lot in that film. But I enjoy, and maybe I'm wrong there, but I enjoyed that type of camera angle because I felt like I was standing right there.
No, I think John Wick is pretty well known for like the continuous shot, right? Rather than like the constant editing, like Taken with Liam Neeson. It's like 90 shots to get him over a chain link fence. So I actually really liked the camera work in this movie. I thought it was really cool to have that continuous scene as they're like going upstairs and they're going through like people's apartments and stuff. And he turns a corner and he's attacked. He kills 3 people and they keep moving. I thought that was super exciting.
And there's even one thing I liked about the action scenes is there's 1 or 2 times that I actually paused and rewound it just so I could watch all that happened in just a couple of seconds again.
Yeah.
Like, because there's one time where he's fighting 1 or 2 guys close hand-to-hand combat and he reloads his handgun with a new magazine while he's fighting somebody. And I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. Kept the barrel of the gun
sleight
down.
Of hand.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to go and like
That's
rewind
cool.
it and watch it again. So it had some awesome action.
I also liked that moment where it follows the kid, Ovi or whatever, for, like 45 seconds. So you lose track of Chris Hemsworth. You don't know where he is as this kid's like running. And then he runs through a door being chased by a cop. And then Chris Hemsworth blows that cop's head off. That was awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot of death and mayhem.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you like that, you'll like this movie.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Anyone should like that. That's dope.
But that's all this movie had, though. To the other point,
sure.
like to JJ's point, like that's all this movie is. Like,
what else is there?
Yeah. Well, Javier. There's a wide range.
Can you guys
different movies
explain to me? So remind me, because the details are fuzzy. The drug lord that was trying to get the kid, was that the one that was like the all powerful one over India, or was he just powerful over that city?
Well, there's 2 places. There's India and Bangladesh.
Yeah.
And my understanding was the guy that steals the kid is in Bangladesh.
Yes.
And the kid's father is in India. And
They're
2 rival
drug
drug lords. Yep.
From 2 different countries. So
got it.
But that border. So they're on the border area of the 2 countries. And so that's why this one's worried about him making him, the one in jail's worried about him humiliating him. The other one wants to. So yeah, but that's why.
What's I was a little surprised because the dude that was in jail, like once it was on the border, like what is he not gonna? I know the girl and her team were there, and that maybe that was him sending more force. But man, it sure seemed like that other drug lord, if he really wanted his son, he could have done a little bit more. But he just
they explained that his assets were frozen, so he didn't have any money.
Okay, that's what I forget, those details.
Which is why they got double crossed, right?
Yeah, because he couldn't afford to pay them.
Okay, all right, that makes me feel a little better.
He dug up enough to get the first part of the payment, but not the delivery side.
Okay, all right. So JJ, I want to ask you, because where this movie tried to connect to us emotionally, when they went into that guy's house. I should remember that actor's name because I really like him from Stranger Things. His name escapes me.
David Harbour.
I just call him Hopper.
Really, I love that guy. But that was a part of the movie where they tried to do a lot more emotional connection, at least the scene leading up to that. And then there when he's talking to the boy while he's laying in bed. What about that didn't work for everyone? Because to me, that was the attempt of the movie to say, hey, here's more just beyond killing. But it seems like it didn't really fall on any of our shoulders.
Felt forced to me. That was my problem. It didn't add anything to the movie. And if they were going to add it, it should have been the first thing that they showed. Now, I know it's cliche for a movie, but if you show this guy having a fight with his ex-wife or the wife he hasn't seen forever about him leaving to go to, to volunteer to go to a duty because he can't deal with the fact that his kid's got cancer and running away from that responsibility and being a father, and then showing him getting the news that, his son had died or what, and he has a kind of a breakdown, but all I get is him sitting at the bottom of some weird body of water, getting a flashback of him on the beach. That doesn't emotionally tie me to you. Like, I look at you and go, oh, they were too lazy to write you a good backstory, so they gave me some flashes, and they don't care. If they don't care enough to put enough about your backstory that's supposed to connect me emotionally, then I don't care about you emotionally. That's just, and I'm not going to try, because the people that wrote and directed and did all this didn't ask me to try by putting in some effort to it. It was lazy to me trying to make us feel for this guy. Like I said, at the end of it, I didn't even give a shit that he died. If I thought it was the best thing that he could have done, because I have no emotional tie to him. I wasn't sad about it. I was actually like, good, he died. Nice way to end it. I like it. Because I just didn't care.
I think I was more disappointed when Saju died than I was Chris Hemsworth.
I think sadness in an action movie is such a weird motivating emotion. I think that's why I like John Wick, because it's anger, and Equalizer because there is no emotion, right? And then, so I like that in an action movie better than like, oh, my kid died, so now I just want to die.
Speaking about Saju, I wanted, when he died and all we got was Hemsworth glanced at him as he was clearing the bridge. Yeah. That was so abrupt and cold-hearted to me. And I was like, this guy just sacrificed his life and his family to save this kid, and all we're going to get is Hemsworth stepping in his general direction, looking at him and moving on, and that was it. That, to me, that pissed me off, because I like that character a lot.
I get things to do,
not
man.
Only that, he killed 3 of Chris Hemsworth's buddies on the start of the movie, so I didn't feel bad about that at all. I was surprised that they started working together, because I would have a hard time if I knew this guy just killed 3 of my friends. I would have a hard time being like, yeah, let's work together. It's all forgotten.
I mean, it depends on which 3.
Yeah. Valid point, Javier. Valid point.
And was he really buddies with those guys, or was it just a ramshackle crew they put together?
Well, he definitely was with the sniper.
That.
Yeah,
because he specifically asked about him.
Wait a minute, they all sucked though. They died.
They all suck.
Oh well, they got played hard. I'm just sad it took them that long to figure out they were getting played. I'm sitting there going, really? It took you that long to figure that shit out? Come on.
I'm just saying,
like, you guys are professionals.
I had a hard time with that, because how do you get onto the boat and past these 2 guys that are literally, you have 3 people watching? There's only one way onto a boat, you know what I mean? And down that. How does this guy get down there and then back up without being seen?
My thought was, since he's the one that probably approved the plan, because he was like the one supposedly that was going to pay for it and run it, he probably knew it, and maybe he got on the boat immediately and was just always there. That's how I rationalized it.
But even then, if you got to get off the boat, and if there's only one way out of that boat, and G's sitting there watching,
that's very true. There you go.
I don't get how you get off a boat without being seen once, and then end up popping the guy that's,
and then he has an expert shot and shoots him. Yeah.
So there are a few things like that kind of bugged me, and the only time that a main character misses a shot is when it's that stupid kid at the end of the movie that killed Chris Hemsworth, and his friend and the gal starts shooting at him and can't seem to hit him, even though he's standing up straight with a AK-47, just oh, hey, I got him.
The last shot that she made was sniping some dude at 2,500 yards.
Which, how did she even find that guy? Holy cow. That would have...
With the same gun that she's holding. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Anyways.
My other qualm with this movie, if you guys remember, I mean, there wasn't a ton of it, but the CGI with some of the explosions, that annoyed me because it was so bad. It was totally, they didn't spend enough money on that. It was very fake to me. And there was like the scene where they crashed the truck they were in. I just remember I was like, oh, this is so not good looking. Like, why Netflix? Why didn't you just spend a little bit more money on making that actually look like an explosion?
Or the top shot of the helicopter there was 2 explosions and they looked so terrible.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is bad.
If your one focus is action, I was like, you'd think they would have spent the money just to make it look like it belonged.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to throw my
It-
pettiness in there, you know.
Oh, that's all
But
I've been doing. So
I would like to point out that he kicked a dude into a crumbled brick wall and also broke his neck.
Yes. Did he break his back too? I feel like he broke his back too.
Oh, he broke. I don't know. That guy's probably, his bones are
Because he hit his head and then he landed on like the wall rock, and I thought maybe he broke his back too. That part was sick.
Yeah.
but some guy gets hit by a moving truck and he gets up
I did find
just
that
a
strange.
fucked up shoulder.
2 guys got hit by cars.
Yeah, Chris
Yeah.
got hit.
Yeah,
They both got hit.
His was kind of an accident and he rolled up onto the hood of the car and then rolled down. So yeah, he's going to be hurt. But this dude got hit by a box truck that was taller than he was. There's no fucking rolling away from this shit. And then he got thrown into a fucking car behind it. And he was laying there like, oh, I'm hurt. And then the next thing you see, he's just a little bloody and got a broken nose. Fuck off. You got no ribs, dude. Like, your shit's so broke right there. And he's up there fighting
Dude, maybe
on a
that's happened
bridge.
to him before. So he's like built up an immunity to. Maybe that's just like a Tuesday in Indian traffic. What do we know?
They were in Bangladesh, you knucklehead.
Yeah, you know.
Jesus. Yeah, it was a little rough to watch. And I love David Harbour, but even his scenes, like as much as those two, because you got 2 men that can act. It's not Chris Hemsworth has proven that he's a great actor, even outside of the Marvel shit. Like he's done movies where he's really good.
What is he in outside of the Marvel stuff?
He's done quite a few things.
Actually, shit's the right word for Marvel.
This guy. I couldn't go through all the list, but there's one that I
like
remember
the
was called
Huntsman, Snow White's and the Huntsman.
Yeah, but
that movie
fucking
sucks.
Shit. He was in but he was in both of those but he was in a movie called Black Hat that's pretty cool. Really good acting. Javier would probably hate it because it's a slow moving sumbitch, but it's cool. It's a hacker kind of thing. And then he was in the other one that I always think of off the top of my head was the one where they were on the horseback.
Oh, 12 Strong.
No, 12 Strong.
12
yeah.
Strong. That one's really good.
Yeah, and he acts the shit out of that movie. Like he's so good. Where it's the guys in Afghanistan and they're on horseback. The soldiers on horseback. Really good movie.
They couldn't afford motorcycles. Seems stupid to me.
Maybe you should watch it and then you'd actually know what was going on.
Wow, Mattson. Jeez. Seems stupid to me.
Oh shit. But yeah, so and then you've got David Harbour, who we know can act. I mean, the man's fun to watch, not even just in the Stranger Things series. He's good in, especially now, he's good in everything that he was in.
Dude, he was great in, what was it? Was it The Departed? No, yeah. Was he in Departed?
Hellboy.
I don't know if he was in Departed. I know he was in what was the other one we were just talking about? The one with Denzel
right?
Washington. Equalizer. He was in Equalizer.
What? He's an Equalizer?
No, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
He's the drug guy that he takes to the meat market where he's the crooked cop.
Oh, he was so good in that.
Oh, yeah.
And he was great in that, but it was funny during our podcast for that one. He was wasted on that movie, in my opinion, because David Harbour was so good, but that was early in his career. But yeah, you get those two in this scene, and they're acting the shit out of it, and it made me like I looked at it and was like, this just doesn't fit. Like you have these two guys having this emotional battle about how they were friends and one saved the other. Now you're trying to sell out this kid. He's offering to kill him and dump the body just to save his life. And I'm sitting and they're having, I mean, it's a pretty emotional thing. They're talking about his dead kid. I'm like, it doesn't fit with the rest of the movie. Like I'm watching this going, this would be great acting if I hadn't watched the rest of this garbage before now. It just did nothing for me at all, which is sad.
It seemed that scene was like random to me. I was like, oh, this is how this is going to go down. Like, okay, weird.
Yeah.
I did think it was a little convenient that he was there in the first place. And they never explained that, like,
Yeah.
what his character's doing there. He's like, I've got a wife. I'm like,
I have an Uber.
Okay.
I'm going to go pick up my friend.
Yeah.
Just call me.
Yeah. All you get's a phone call. I saved his life. Tell him to come get me. What the
And then
fuck?
they're like, I wouldn't do that. And then they also never explained that.
Yeah. It's a mess. I think, well, yeah, it's a mess. It's another movie that was directed by, so the guy Chris Hargrave that directed this is a stuntman. He's been Chris Hemsworth's stuntman for ages. And so he comes in and it's a lot like John Wick. The action's really good. The difference is the storyline behind John Wick was done in a way that emotionally attached you to this man. And so you were rooting for him the whole time. They did that early and they did it quick and they did it very deep. That's why I say this one, I had no buy-in other than watching him murk people throughout the movie because I wasn't tied to this guy at all. So the movie just, I missed it.
Brought in an attack dog that was with Chris Hemsworth and the dog died. And then we get into it.
To JJ's point, though, like...
Or lean into the redemption arc.
Well, yeah, because the whole time I'm like, do I care if this guy dies? Like, the whole time I'm asking myself that. And it turns out I don't at the end.
Yeah. And they could have leaned into the redemption arc, right? That's all they had to do. Like I said, show him abandoning his child and his wife. And now it's about saving another kid, which is what they tried to do. But they didn't get you attached early, which was their mistake.
Yeah, you had to get there by yourself, right? Like,
you had to force it.
Yeah.
Well said.
Anything else we want to share about Extraction?
I'm good.
Dude, he killed so many people.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That is true.
Would you like to know how many kills there are in this movie?
I was just looking that up. How many?
183.
Ooh, that's going to be a trivia fact when we release this. How many kills were there?
I think that beats John Wick 1.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, so John Wick's kill count for the first and second movie reaches 202 kills. So that's the first two John Wicks barely beat out this one movie. Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of killing. So, and to be fair, like we've crapped on the majority of like the plot and the dialogue. To be fair, there's not a lot of plot and there's not a lot of dialogue. So you don't have to put up with it for that long.
True.
You got to fit 3 kills in there somewhere. So
yeah.
Yeah. And the kills were brutal. It was fun. I mean, it was a fun watch if you're looking for action. That's for sure.
Let me say this. I was on IMDb. It says writer Joe Russo has explained the ambiguous ending with an out of focus figure in the distance as being a key part to the possibility of a sequel. Rake, which is the main character, is not confirmed to be dead in the end, and a sequel is not out of the question. Damn him.
I mean, Joe Russo is the Marvel dude, right?
Yeah.
He's one of them, yes.
I mean, that's just typical Marvel shit, right? Like, you kill off everyone and you just bring them back. You do some shitty time traveling. So, I mean, that's just Joe Russo stuff. Like, of course this guy's not dead. Why would he be dead? This guy couldn't kill off a character to save his life. Jeez.
Dude, they killed off 2 that they haven't brought back, and nor are they going to bring them back. So shush your pie hole.
The actors were like,
and
we don't want to do this
here's the newest
anymore.
interview with
and
him.
So they had to.
Again, they gave him the red light. Jesus Christ, the green light for this. And he said, we're not committing yet to whether the story goes forward or backward in time. We left a big loose ending that leaves question marks for the audience, but Chris Hemsworth has signed on for the second one. So it's either going to be a flashback movie and he's dead, or it'll be a flash forward movie and he's alive somehow, or it'll be a flashback and he's still fucking alive. Who knows?
With kids, though. There'll be more kids.
Yeah, as long as he's slapping more kids around, that's all that matters. All right, gentlemen, I think it's time to rate this movie and say whether we would watch it again, though that's probably pretty clear from the intro, but we'll do it anyway. I'll start this time with ratings. I'm going to give this movie a 1.5. And all 1.5 of it comes from the fact that the action was awesome. Everything else in this movie, to me, was a giant turd. So 1.5 it is because the action was badass. If you want to see people get murked and kids get slapped around, watch this movie. If you want to watch this movie expecting something, a good movie, it's not it. It's just not it. In fact, most of the things that should have been good to me made this movie worse. The only thing that was good was the action and choreography. So that's me. Mattson.
Dang. I'm gonna give it a 2.5. I found myself just enjoying the action and was okay enjoying that. But to JJ's point, there's not a lot of emotional ties to this movie. The story throughout was disjointed at best for me. If you like Chris Hemsworth and you want to see him in an action movie and do his thing and do it well with these, just action galore, watch this movie. 2.5. Is it great beyond that? No. Would I watch it again? If it was on, definitely a couple of scenes I'd probably rewatch, but not something I'm seeking out.
Yeah, I forgot to say I'm not watching this movie again. Ian.
I'm kind of struggling with how to rate this one because I don't want to go too low and put it in the category of like an Olympus Has Fallen or a White House Down or something like that.
Wow.
So
just wow.
Yeah. Just wow. No, I'm saying because this one was better than those. Javier, I think you can at least agree with that, right? No?
I don't know if I can.
Okay, never mind.
What?
I never thought I would defend White House Down over anything, but I'm close.
Oh, really? Wow.
Because at least I laughed at that movie.
I laughed when he was slapping the kids around.
I mean, I laughed at that too, but I laughed at almost the whole movie, White House Down, even though half of it I was laughing at how bad it was, but I was still laughing.
But the action in this alone is so much, whatever. It's Ian's. I'm taking away from
Yeah, sorry, Ian. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I think I'll do 2.5 right in the middle. The action was there, but that's all it had, as has been said. So,
Javier.
Okay, I'm trying to understand. So it's on par with other things I've rated. What did I give Bloodshot?
You gave Bloodshot a 3.
Okay. And what did I give White House Down?
You gave White House Down. I'm pretty sure you gave White House Down a 3 as well. Hold on. White House Down, you gave a 3.
Okay. And just to remind everyone, I gave The Town a 2.5, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Exactly. So this is better than The Town for sure. So
you just try to rub it in our faces with that.
So I think
oh my gosh.
I think I'm gonna give this I'm gonna give it a 3. I think I'm gonna put it on par with Bloodshot and White House Down. Yeah.
Are you rewatching this? You as well, Ian.
If somebody else wanted to watch it and hadn't seen it, I'd sit through it, but I'm not going out of my way to watch it again.
What about you, Javier?
Dude, this is a great background movie. You know, you're just like doing some work and you just got some dude snapping his neck on some other dude. Yeah, I'd watch this again. I don't know if I'd give it 100% of my attention, but yeah, I'd watch this again.
All right.
Cool.
JJ, I have a question for you though. You gave
JJ's like dying.
JJ, you gave Bloodshot a 2.5 and you gave this a 1.5. Are you still feeling good about your rating there?
I would watch Bloodshot 1,000 times before I watch this movie again.
Wow. Now who's being dramatic?
I'm pretty sure I'm watching this over Bloodshot for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would not. At least Bloodshot had an somewhat, albeit poorly acted, but somewhat intriguing story. This movie had no story. It was some fucking asshole that was running around killing sons of bitches, which is fun to watch, but it doesn't make for a good movie. And while I didn't enjoy Bloodshot for the most part, I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed this movie.
Wow.
Okay.
And it's hard for me to speak right now because I really want to go through the screen and poke Javier in the eye, because we agreed almost completely on this movie throughout. It was a very peaceful podcast until he fucking said this was better than The Town.
See, I would like to point out, I am not the hostile one here.
No, I'm very hostile.
Javi,
Like,
your opinion of The Town
I'm
pisses
sweating
me
right
off
now. Like,
so
I can't
much.
even.
It disgusts me sometimes that you're on the podcast and say that, because that movie is a great movie, and then you come back and say White House Down is better than The Town. How dare you?
Oh, absolutely. Hands down.
Joe Gold, if you're listening to this, shame on you for liking Javier.
I would watch White House Down 1,000 times before I watch The Town again.
And 1,000 times.
Dude, I'm being attacked right now.
All right. So that's the verdict, I guess. We did have a shout out.
I'm going to throw up on Javier. Jeez.
I would have been perfectly fine with everything he said had he not thrown in The fucking Town
He
again.
always has to throw that in. Every time.
I didn't talk about Jurassic Park this time.
You just did.
Well, till just now.
I'm just saying, you got to give credit where credit is due. You know,
That's fair.
Let JJ put in our great listener, because I guess this is a great segue into what you're probably going to say.
Jurassic Park.
Oh my God. Yeah, so we did get another 5-star review, gentlemen, so I wanted to give these guys a shout out. This is from another podcast, actually.
Hey.
They're called the BB&C podcast. And what they said was it was good. Their headline is "Good idea. This group of co-hosts brings a lot to the table. If you're looking for a comprehensive breakdown of your movie of choice by a group of easy-talking friends, and look no further. Their arbitration series does a great job of comparing pros and cons of two movies, and the variety of opinions from different hosts works well to cover multiple viewpoints. So thanks, BB&C Podcast. We appreciate that. I will let you guys know. I don't know if you have yet or not. You should go listen to them. They're pretty funny. They have longer episodes, so if you guys like a longer format, everybody go check these guys out. They talk about movies, gaming news, some really pop culture shit. They're pretty funny, make me laugh. I was listening to them. They're funny shit. So go check them out, BB&C Podcast. And thanks, guys. We appreciate the 5-star review. Javier, why don't you tell them where they can find us?
Oh, let me tell you guys where you guys can find us. So you can find us on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, anywhere where you can find just the cream of the crop, just best of the best, perfect of the most perfect podcasts that you could possibly imagine. We're talking like just mental orgasm of podcasts. Where you would find those is where you can find us. You can also find us on social media: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can also slide right into those DMs or email us at host@what'sourverdictpodcast.com if you just want to talk, you want to chat, or you have some movies that you'd like us to watch. We're game for that. How was
Thanks,
that?
Javier. Love it.
Wow.
Also, guys, don't forget to check us out on our sister podcast, What's Our Verdict TV. Don't know what's coming next on that one, but we've done all of the 3rd season of Westworld, so go check that out. But yeah, thanks, Javier, for where they can find us. And at this point, I think we've said all we can say about this particular movie. So that's that. That's our verdict, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Whoa!